Let's now look into the possibility of positive discourse analysis in the realms of education and social activism, which, even from a commonsensical point of view, may be seen as the most effective, uh, positively most affected areas in positive discourse analysis, because we can always generate positive discourse in education and social activism, and which can address the issues of a marginalized community in mainstream education. In education, the term positive discourse analysis can be used to refer to or to cover various progressive approaches such as reading to learn program, critical applied linguistics, which looks at finding uh, the mishandling of language in various social ways and try to provide some positive perspective to the audience. And also, this can move towards development of an inclusive curriculum, which would not only include people from various backgrounds, but also from various socio-cultural and political classes. So this can be the ultimate or ideal goal of positive discourse in education. Rogers and Mosley provides us some insights into this kind of experimentation through their research on literary education aimed at marginalized groups in the Missouri State School. And let's see what they found out. They found out some kind of relationship between text and social practices by using the tools of critical discourse analysis and multimodal analysis. They found that teacher may become an agent for change by pushing his or her role in a positive way, by creating new discourses, not only for himself but also for his colleagues and students. They also found that teachers and resources can play a good role in changing a society. In this way, the word positive can have a double sense, or can be used was used in two possible ways in the research. First, it deals with the empowerment of teacher and students, and secondly, it also served as a vehicle to position herself not only as an educator but an educator of other educators, that mean an agent for social changing the mindset of the colleagues and students about a certain groups and their education. According to the authors, these discourse processes help the people to have a better and deep look at the future options for the improvement. And but dissemination of such positive discourses is a long-term process, and its time would further depend on the context and the purpose and the target audience also. Some audience probably would be intellectually ripened to receive such messages, and the effect would be very quick. And in some audiences and less developed areas, such messages may take a lot of time to be shaped, because the audience and the context is not ripened enough to frame or disseminate such messages. In this regard, Scolan's consultative discourse analysis, public consultative discourse analysis, has clear links with PDA, because it also focuses on similar goals. It seeks to bring discourse analysis itself into the democratic and participatory negotiation of public policy. It looks how the analysis of discourse analysis the analysis of the discourse related to public policy can be analyzed in a way in which we not only find hidden meanings, ideologies, and pitfalls in already framed policies or debated negotiated policies, but we can also, by doing so, can suggest certain changes in those policies, and that makes it very close to positive discourse analysis. In this regard, we can see that public consultative discourse analysis is a reiterative process. It not only looks at report findings but also include feedback, deliberations, and then conduct further analysis. It's an ongoing process. Rogers also, in another study, outlines in her case study and drew close analysis of the textual devices that contribute to power and consent. And she analyzed the text like minutes of meetings, media reports, then transcriptions of public hearings and policy documents, and looked into the ways that influence public policies. Rogers argues that counter narratives not only question dominant knowledge, but they also serve to build community among those at the margins of the society. It can unite certain peoples, marginalized people, to build a community among themselves. It not only gives them voice, in other words, but it also can put them together, can combine them in meaningful, socially meaningful ways, and the ways which can add to their progress in the society, and can also teach them new stories over time, and which can create possibly new realities for them. That is, in other words, is a very ideal goal. In this way, the aims of public consultative discourse analysis is to raise consciousness and increase activism through the collective processes, and which can culminate into some kind of collective gains. In this regard, CDA can also be a vehicle to achieve to reach there by framing, historicizing, and disrupting textual silences at the first stage. And later on, based on such analysis, we can build positive discourses, which is the ultimate goal. Rogers' use of PCDA therefore adds a further variable to what may be considered the P of positive in the incorporation of the subject community themselves in every aspect of the analysis of discourses. So Rogers is the one who believes that, and this can be replicated in positive discourse analysis also, as has already been suggested by some proponents of PDA, that we should involve those marginalized minority community groups for which we are creating an alternative or new discourse. So they should be made a part of every analysis which is conducted under public consultative discourse analysis or positive discourse analysis. From PDA perspective, Humphreys also says that discursive practices which rally audiences around communal ideas and disposition can be used to harmonize the people and for the uplift of the marginalized community groups also. The same resources can be redefined, can be re-employed to upgrade the marginalized groups also by creating new discourses for themselves. Schroeter is another researcher who also created certain ideas of similar nature through her study on punk culture. We can see a punk culture is something which nourishes a critical distance from and critical attitude towards hegemonic discourses. Punk culture is a popular music culture, especially it was very popular in Germany, where it would resist the hegemony of powerful groups and would like to include various ideas, sometimes even in idiosyncratic ways. Schroeter analyzes lyrics from the post-war German punk and see how hegemonic public and political discourses which actually supported racist ideologies and how punk culture resists that ideology. it was argued that more attention should be paid to a broader variety of voices in discourse, especially by looking at the continuum between hegemony and resistance. We also include the resistance dialogues also. Schroeder sees punk lyrics as representing a counter discourse which is marked by disturbance, disagreement, and distance, and therefore it provides an alternative discourse, and far from wishing to be accepted by the hegemonic forces of the day. Hegemonic forces obviously would not accept this, but it may provide a voice to less dominant or marginalized group in a society. Such a stance also creates a solidarity within the punk movement, and it helps to sustain it as an alternative movement, a movement which aims to give voice to less marginalized groups, therefore suggesting the conditions of possibility for uptake of such counter discourses that is missing from more celebratory PDA. So we can see that positive discourse analysis can take insights from various studies which have been conducted in other similar realms, for example, public consultative discourse analysis. Since their aims are similar, so positive discourse analysis can take their methodologies, their tools, and can develop alternative discourses for the marginalized groups of a society.